Hello, Magic English 8 here. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope your language skills are improving, and at the same time, I hope you enjoy learning English language this way. If you find these videos useful, please kindly like them, leave your beautiful comments, and share them with your friends. You haven't subscribed yet? Please do so. It is useful for my channel. Thank you very much. Today I am with you with another unit of interchange, the Blue Book, Unit 15. So the book has got 16 units and 14 units are already uploaded. Today we have a very useful unit talking about conditional sentences type 2. Very useful for talking about present and future conditionals. So let's head for that. I wouldn't have done that. Unit 15 of Interchange Blue. The title says I wouldn't have done that. It is something conditional. We will talk about that under our grammar part. But before going forward, let's take a look at the word file and see what we are covering at a glance today. Unit 15, main areas covered today are, we will talk about money, hopes, predicaments, probably you don't know the meaning of, I will tell you, and speculations. So, predicament, something hard, difficult. Let's take a look at our Longman and see what the Longman dictionary says. Predicament, it says a difficult or unpleasant situation in which you do not know what to do. So it is a difficult, tough situation. And something here, it says the country's
economic predicament.
So where are you? I would transfer this beautiful chunk, economic predicament, into my vocabulary notebook. It's going to be useful in your speaking, in your writing, economic predicament. And this one says,
she went to the office to explain her predicament.
Explain her predicament. And this one, in a predicament. This one is beautiful to go into your vocabulary notebook.
Other married couples are in a similar predicament.
To be in a predicament. To be in a similar predicament. So these things are beautiful to go into your vocabulary notebook. This way, your language gets better and better just by transferring the beautiful chunks and words into your vocabulary notebook and reviewing them. And speculations, what does that mean? Longman says, speculations, it is your guess about the possible cause or effect of something. So speculations, roughly speaking, means guess. And here it says,
there is speculation that the president is ill.
So there is no proof for that. It's just people's guess, speculation. Speculation on or about something. Speculations about the future.
Speculation about the future.
Or here it says pure speculation.
The witness's statement was pure speculation.
No knowledge to back it up. Pure speculation, mere guess. Okay, so beautiful to go into your vocabulary notebook. Pure or mere speculation. Okay, so today we're talking about money, hopes, predicaments, speculations, guesses, speculating about past and future events, describing a predicament. We will talk about it in our listening part, giving advice and suggestions. And also we have unreal conditional sentences with if clauses, conditional sentences type 2, and of course past modals. Very beautiful grammar points. So let's go to our snapshot. Our snapshot here is about 3 pieces of news, and let's just read them and see what they have for us in terms of vocabulary. It says, Florida mom caught being honest. How? Nancy Bloom was caught on the security camera entering a convenience store, something like a supermarket, while the owner was out to lunch. Lunch as a verb. So the owner was out to eat something. The door was unlocked, so Nancy walked in with her son, picked up some ice cream, and left the money on the counter. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. Number 2, honesty is its own reward. After driving for 20 miles to return a wallet lost in a park, Kate Moore gets only a half-hearted "Oh, thanks." A half-hearted means it's not even sincere or energetic. "Oh, that's my wallet? Oh, thanks." So maybe Kate in this situation says, "Oh, I shouldn't have driven for 20 miles to just be treated so cold." But maybe honesty is its own reward. And the third one, homeless man finds $40,000 and turns it in. So our guess is turn in means give back. So let's go to our lineman and see if turn in really means return. Here, turn in. Turn in, phrasal verb, turn something in. It says to give something to a person in authority, especially an illegal weapon or something lost or stolen. This part matches our story. So it says, for example, my wallet
was turned in to the police 2 days later.
Was given back to the police. Okay, so homeless finds $40,000 and turns it in. When Tom Hurt found a backpack full of cash, he didn't think twice. He didn't hesitate. Think twice means stop, think for another time, or hesitate about something. He took it straight or right to the police. After reading Tom's story, a stranger started a fundraising campaign for Tom and has already raised over $60,000. Far better. So the guy wrote about his story and it was a fundraising campaign. Everybody came and contributed or paid something to that campaign, and that added up to $60,000 for Tom. So now somehow we know what the story of this lesson is about. Some stories of honesty. Okay, now we have some speaking here questions. Let's go and for furthering our speaking, practice them. Here it says, have you ever found anything valuable? What did you do with that? So if your answer to that is yes, please stop, think, organize your ideas, and give a sample response before we talk about mine. Or if it is no, again, you can give that. Now, my sample response. Once I found a valuable item, a shiny ring on the ground. I wasn't sure what to do at first, but I asked around to see if anyone had lost it. Eventually, finally, someone recognized it and claimed it as theirs, as their ring. They were really grateful, thankful, and it felt good to help them out. So a simple answer. You can have this style talking about questions in part 1 of IELTS or questions 1 and 2 in TOEFL IBT. A short sample response, something around 40 seconds will do. Now, you understood how I answered. Maybe now you can pause the video and answer this question for furthering your speaking. Please do that. The second question, it says, do you think people who return lost things should get a reward? People who return lost things should get a reward. Now, let's see what the answer here says. It says, while it's nice to receive a reward for doing a good deed, a good work, action, like returning a lost item, good deed, I think the real reward is the feeling of doing the right thing and helping someone out. Help somebody in a difficult situation. It's about being honest and kind rather than expecting something in return. However, a small token of appreciation, like a thank you or a sincere gesture, something like this, can definitely make the experience even more meaningful. So appreciation means thank, and token of appreciation, maybe Google can help us see what it is. Token of appreciation, something small just to show that you are thanking someone. Okay, token of appreciation. You can transfer that also into your vocabulary notebook. So these were the 2 speaking questions. We covered them here, and now it is the end of our snapshot. I hope you have learned some language and also you have practiced your speaking here. If you're good, exercise 2 and conversation. What would you do? Okay, it's gonna mark or foreshadow the grammar part for us. Talking about conditional sentences type 2. So I got some warm-up questions for you. I don't want you to read the text first. Let's go to the Word file and see what the questions are. Focus questions for the conversation part. It says, what did the homeless guy find? What did he do with it? So there is a homeless guy in this conversation. He finds something. What did he do with that? Please take notes. We will listen to that a second time. Ready? Let's go.
Page 100. Exercise 2. Conversation. What would you do? Part A. Listen and practice.
Look at this. A homeless guy found a backpack with $40,000 inside.
And what did he do?
He took it to the police. He gave it all back, every single penny.
You're kidding. If I found $40,000, I wouldn't return it. I'd keep it.
Really? What would you do with it?
Well, I'd spend it. I could buy a new car or take a nice long vacation.
The real owner might find out about it, though, and then you could go to jail.
You've got a point there.
So this part, she hadn't thought it through. So the answers. What did the homeless guy find? A bag full of money, $40,000. And what did he do with it? He went to the police and turned it in. Okay? Now, for furthering our speaking, what did she say about her experience if she found the money? So she says, if I found that bag, I wouldn't give it back. I would spend it. I could buy a new car, I could buy new things with it, and the results or the consequence of that, the owner might have found out about it, and then she could have gone to jail for it. Okay, so this is the story of this conversation. Now, a second round. Let's look at the text and listen to it another time.
What would you?
Look at this. A homeless guy found a backpack with $40,000 inside.
A homeless guy found. So you see, the scenario is happening in the past tense. It's important for our grammar. It is in past tense.
And what did he do?
He took it to the police. He gave it all back.
He gave it all back, every single penny. So all of it.
Every single penny.
You're kidding. If I found $40,000, I wouldn't return it.
So, you're kidding, you know about it? If I found, simple past, I wouldn't return it. If I found, I wouldn't return it. Okay? Have it in your mind?
I'd keep it.
Really? What would you do with it?
What would you do with it? So again, it is half of a conditional sentence. If you found 40,000, what would you do with it?
Well, I'd spend it. I could buy a new car or take a nice long vacation.
All of these are half of conditionals. So if I found, I could buy. If I found, I would buy.
The real owner might find out about it, though, and then you could go to jail.
Though, but the real owner might find out about it, and then you could go to jail.
You've got a point there.
You've got a point there means you are right. So you've got a point there. It's a fixed expression, means you are right. I didn't think about it. You're right. Okay, so the story of the homeless guy finding $40,000, giving it all back to the police. She, on the other hand, wanted to keep it, buy things with it, but the repercussion might be grave. The owner might find out about it and she could end up in jail. Now, part 2 of the conversation here we got, please take notes and give me a summary of part B in order to better your speaking. Ready?
Listen to the rest of the conversation. What would June do if he found $40,000?
What would June do, the boy? Okay? Take notes, please.
So, what would you do if you found $40,000?
Oh, you know me. I hate breaking rules, and I'd feel nervous about keeping the money. So, I'd take it straight to the police.
I guess that wouldn't be such a bad idea. Maybe you'd be lucky and the owner of the money would give you a big reward.
Well, they say honesty is its own reward. But I could use a new bike.
Okay, please pause the video and give a summary of the part in order to master your speaking. My sample response: the boy June says he hates breaking laws, and he would straight go to the police and would turn the money in. But she says maybe the owner would reward you with some money or something, but he says honesty is the main reward. At the same time, he would like the idea of getting some reward in order to have a new bike. Okay, let's listen to the part again and talk about its beautiful words and phrases.
So, what would you do if you found $40,000?
So, what would you do if you found? Conditional sentence. Okay?
Oh, you know me. I hate breaking rules.
I hate breaking rules. I hate breaking rules. So, for rules in law, you can say break. Break rules. Break laws. I hate breaking rules.
And I'd feel nervous about keeping the money.
I'd feel nervous, stressed out.
So, I'd take it straight to the police.
Take it straight to the police without hesitation.
I guess that wouldn't be such a bad idea. Maybe you'd be lucky and the owner of the money would give you a big reward.
Probably a big reward.
Well, they say honesty is its own reward.
Honesty is its own reward.
But I could use a new bike.
So he doesn't say no to the reward if it goes back to him. Okay, so I think it was not a very difficult part talking about stories of honesty and some conditional sentences. Now, I guess our mind is ready for the grammar focus exercise 3, and that sets unreal conditional sentences with if clauses for us. So just take a look at this table here for a second, reading the sentence for yourself, understanding the structure. You're good. Here it breaks the sentence into two parts. It says imaginary situation in simple past. If I found $40,000, if I found $40,000, imaginary. It hasn't happened to you. Possible outcome, consequence for present to future with would verb, could verb, might verb. So if I found this, I would keep it. I wouldn't return it. I could buy a new car. I might go to the police. So all of them are the consequences of if I found $40,000. Imaginary situations with their consequences under conditional sentences type 2. So just memorize it. If and simple past, here in the main clause, would verb, could verb, and might verb. Simple and easy. Got it? Let's go here in the word file. Unreal conditional sentences with if clauses. You just know that they are type 2 conditionals. The structure says if subject, for example, if I, simple past, I would verb, I could verb. I might memorize this. Memorize the structure, the example. If I had enough money, I would buy a new car. So it means I don't have and I cannot buy. Okay? What is the meaning? Let's a little delve into the depth of this structure. Meaning, they are about situations in the present or future. So these sentences are about present or future. Don't say because it is past, it is about past. They are about present or future. These situations are not true. If I had enough money, it means now I don't have enough money. Okay? Uses hypothetical situations or imaginary situations. Hypothetical situations in the present in the future, often used to express wishes. So if I had this money, it's a wish. Regret, I would do that, I wouldn't do that. Unlikely outcomes that we talked about, the consequences. Okay, so if I want to wrap it up, the most important points are the sentences are about present and future, and they are not true. We just cover their consequences. Examples: present unreal conditionals. So unlikely situations in the present. If I had more money, I would travel around the world. It means now I don't have enough money and I cannot travel. If he studied harder, he could pass the exam. So he didn't study and he could. That is the part that we said wishes and regrets. This is the regret. He could pass the exam. He couldn't pass the exam, in fact. And future unreal conditionals. Unlikely situation in the future. If it rained tomorrow, see, rained past tomorrow, but it is conditional. If it rained tomorrow, I would stay home. The weather forecast suggests it won't rain, so probably I won't stay home. But if it did, I would. Got it? We covered it under present and future unreal conditionals in the present and in the future with the examples. Now, we got some more examples here for you to fully understand the story. It says, if he spoke Spanish fluently, past, he would be able to communicate with his relatives in Spain more easily. So, he cannot speak, he cannot communicate. Number 2, if I lived in a warmer climate, I would not need a winter coat. So it means I don't live in a warm climate and I do need a warmer coat, okay? Or winter coat. If she didn't have a fear of heights, she would climb mountains. Clear? Clear? So I don't explain it anymore because I guess you already know about it. Number 4. If they lived closer to the beach, they would go surfing every weekend. Problem is they are not living close, so they cannot go surfing. And if it weren't so late, I would go out for dinner. Unfortunately, it is late and I cannot go out if it weren't. So you know that in conditional sentences, in if sentences, for all pronouns we use were. If he were, if she were, if it were. And here, would and simple form of the verb. Okay? That's the story of the grammar. I guess we covered it well. Now, part A, complete the conversations, then compare with a partner. Are you ready? So, maybe for your more practice, it's best for you to pause the video here and answer these questions. Okay, I will put all of them in one shot. So, not a bad idea for you to pause the video and answer these questions, but I will continue now. It says, what would you do if you lost your sister's favorite sweater? Of course, I would buy her a new one. So, I would buy. What would you do? I would buy. Number 2, if you had passed, in the if clause, had passed. If you had 3 months to travel, where would you go? Or where could you go? Oh, that's easy. I would fly to Europe. I've always wanted to go there. If your doctor, simple past, told you to eat more, to get more exercise, which activity would you choose? I'm not sure, but I think I might, because it says not sure, maybe might is better. I'm not sure, but I think I might go jogging 2 or 3 times a week. This one, so it is not a WH, it is a yes, no. Would you break into your house if you passed, locked yourself out? Would you break into your house if you locked yourself out? No way! If I passed, did not have another key, I would ask a neighbor, I could ask, or I might ask a neighbor for help. Number 5, if your friend past wanted to marry someone you didn't like, would you say something? Would you say something? No, I wouldn't say anything. I would mind my own business. So would you say anything? I wouldn't say anything. I would mind my own business. Mind your business means just be busy with your own business. Don't interfere in others' business. And number 6, what would you do if you saw your favorite movie star on the street? I would not be shy. I would ask to take a photo with them. Okay, so I would not be shy. I would ask. Okay, I hope you got this grammar nice and clean. But now, part B and furthering our speaking. Some questions here I lined up for you, and they are not necessarily like what the book suggests. But please, after reading the question, pause the video and answer. This way you can understand your speaking is getting better or not. Or better yet, you can listen to my sample response, take some ideas and vocabulary, and then put them into your own words. It says, what would you do if you woke up one day and realized you could fly? Nice dream. If I woke up one day and could suddenly fly, the first place I would fly to would probably be a beautiful natural spot like a mountain peak or a remote beach. Flying would be an amazing experience, and I'd want to enjoy it in a serene and breathtaking setting. So, a breathtaking setting, breath, and then it's breathtaking. So it is shocking, amazing, wonderful. It's a positive, beautiful adjective. And serene means very calm. A serene setting, a calm setting. So the examples here, mountain peak, very serene and breathtaking. Remote beach, it's probably not populated with so many people because it is remote. So serene and breathtaking settings. Okay, this was my sample response. And the second one, what would you do if you discovered that your best friend was spreading rumors about you? Rumors, untrue stories, or lies about you. What would you do? That is your best friend and some lies about you. What would you do? So, if I discovered that my best friend was spreading rumors about me, I would approach C conditionals. If I passed, I would approach them calmly to discuss it. It's crucial to address such issues directly. Talk about that directly, or consider them, and try to understand their perspective, their opinion, their idea, before jumping to conclusions or taking any drastic action. Take action. Take drastic action. Beautiful. Communication is key in resolving misunderstanding and maintaining a healthy relationship. So this part had a lot of words and phrases. I would like to read it one more time. If I discovered that my best friend was spreading rumors about me, I would approach them calmly and discuss it. It's crucial to address such issues. Address an issue. An issue means problem. Directly, and try to understand their perspective, opinion about, before jumping to conclusions. Beautiful. Taking any drastic actions. Beautiful. Doing something. Communication is key. Again, beautiful. In resolving misunderstandings and maintaining a healthy relationship. Maintain a healthy relationship. Were I you, I would transfer all these beautiful chunks into my vocabulary notebook, and I would review that 3 times daily. This way, you can hope that they will transfer into your own active language. So, manifesting themselves in your writing, in your speaking. Okay? I am teaching you how to activate your passive language. Oftentimes, our language readers, they know a lot when it comes to reading or listening. But when they are practicing that in writing or speaking, they are kind of tongue-tied. Why? Because they have not activated. They have just read and listened. You need to put that into your writing, into your speaking. This way you are activating your language. Are you good? Me too. So grammar part finished, and now listening, tough situations. Tough means difficult, hard. So let's see what it is.
Page 101. Exercise 4. Listening. Tough situations. Part A. Listen to 3 people talk about predicaments. Check which predicament they are talking about.
Okay, so predicaments, difficult situations. Is it this one or this one? My suggestion, please take some notes and then give your summary on that. Okay? This is the first time you're listening to the listening. We will have a second round for talking about the vocabulary and the language. Okay? Now, please take notes. Give me your summary. Ready? Let's go.
1.
I'm really worried about Chris.
Why?
Well, this may sound silly, but he spends too much time on the internet. I think he might be addicted to it.
Really? Why do you think so?
We went to the movies yesterday, and during the whole movie, he was on his phone. He couldn't even take a 2-hour break to watch this movie he's wanted to see. Then I suggested we go to the mountains this weekend for a hike, and he said no. He said if he didn't have Wi-Fi service in the mountains, he wouldn't go.
Wow, that is pretty bad. We all need time away from technology.
So, what would you do if you were in my position? Would you say something to him?
I wouldn't tell him he has a problem. He wouldn't like that. I would continue to suggest activities that don't involve the internet. He can't say no forever.
Oh, I would be honest and tell him what I think. He will make excuses until you're direct with him. It's a problem that could affect his relationships with other people, and he needs to know that.
Okay, so please pause the video now and give your summary for practicing your speaking. Mine. Chris, of course, has addiction to the internet, and the thing is that this friend with Chris went to the movies, but during the 2 hours at the movies, he was on his phone all the time. It looks like he's addicted, and now that he's suggesting him to go to the mountains, on the grounds that there is no Wi-Fi there, he turns this invitation down. One of the girls believes that you should not directly say that to him because he doesn't like that. Suggest some other activities that do not need internet, and anyway, he will accept one of them. But the other one says you should be direct with him so he understands his problem or weakness. Okay, now let's go to the second one with the same strategy. Okay, notes please.
2.
I just got an email from my friend Carrie. She lost all her money on vacation in Europe. Isn't that horrible?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Blake, what would you do if you were on vacation overseas and you lost all your money and credit cards?
I guess I'd call my parents and ask them to send me some money right away. What about you, Zoe?
Yeah, I'd probably do the same thing. Though I guess I'd probably sell my watch and camera. Or I might get a job as a waitress somewhere till I made enough money to buy a plane ticket home.
Okay, and this one please again pause the video and give your summary. Mine. Carrie was on a Euro trip, but unfortunately she lost all her money and credit cards. Now the things that these guys would do if they were her, he says he would call his parents and ask for money, but she has another approach, saying she would sell her watch or camera, or maybe she could find a job till she found enough money to buy a plane ticket back home. And the third one.
3.
Something happened to me this morning, and I don't know what I should do.
What happened?
Well, I was taking a test in math, and I saw 2 classmates cheating in front of me.
How were they cheating?
Well, I heard some noise, so I looked over there, and they both were looking at their arms. Their arms had writing all over them.
Oh, so they wrote the answers on their arms?
Yeah. And then after class, they were laughing and talking all about it. What would you do if you saw two people cheating on a test?
If I were in your position, I would talk to the teacher. I would tell him what you saw and ask him not to say that you told him. It's not fair if they get a good grade and they didn't spend any time studying like you did.
I wouldn't get involved. I would pretend I didn't see anything. It's not your business, and sooner or later they'll get caught.
Okay, a tricky situation. Again, please pause the video and give your summary. Mine, today she had a math test and she saw something interesting. Two of the classmates were cheating, writing all the answers on their arms. So she's asking the other friends what would they do if they were in such a situation. She says she would talk to the teacher because it's not fair that you study and they without studying get a good mark. But he says, I would not get involved in that sort of thing. I would not get myself busy. Sooner or later, they themselves will find out about it or they might be caught. Okay, that was our listening, talking about 3 tough predicaments and the things that people would do if they were in that situation. Now, one more time, let's listen. Surely it has a lot of language for us. Okay, ready? Let's go.
You know, I'm really worried about Chris.
Why?
Well, this may sound silly, but he spends too much time on the internet.
Spends too much time on the internet. So for the internet, we say on the internet, okay? Spends time on the internet.
I think he might be addicted to it.
He might be addicted to it. So be addicted to something. To be addicted to something.
Really? Why do you think so?
We went to the movies yesterday, and during the whole movie, he was on his phone.
So during the movie, he was on his phone. He was on his phone. My suggestion, these prepositions are really difficult for language learners. Please highlight them in your books or transfer them into your vocabulary notebook. Again, highlighting them. This way, they will draw more attention. He was on his phone.
He couldn't even take a 2-hour break to watch this movie he's wanted to see.
Take a 2-hour break. Take a break, yeah? Take a break. He couldn't even take a 2-hour break from his phone watching the movie.
Then I suggested we go to the mountains this weekend for a hike, and he said no. He said if he didn't have Wi-Fi service in the mountains, he wouldn't go.
Wow, that is pretty bad. We all need time away from technology.
So, what would you do if you were in my position?
What would you do if you were in my position? A very beautiful sentence. What would you do if you were in my situation or position? What would you do if you were? Please memorize this. What would you do if you? What would you do if you were in my situation, in my position, whatever? It's beautiful.
Would you say something to him?
I wouldn't tell him he has a problem. He wouldn't like that. I would continue to suggest activities that don't involve the internet.
Activities that don't involve the internet.
Can't say no forever.
Oh, I would be honest and tell him what I think. He will make excuses until you're direct with him.
So she believes that you should be direct with him because he would make other excuses. Make excuse. Bring other excuses.
It's a problem that could affect his relationships with other people, and he needs to know that.
It could affect his relations.
2.
I just got an email from my friend Carrie. She lost all her money on vacation in Europe.
She lost all her money on vacation. So for vacation, we say on vacation. I was on a vacation the other day.
Isn't that horrible?
Isn't that horrible? Terrible. So horrible meaning terrible. Means very, very bad. Yeah? horrible or terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
She gave it.
Blake, what would you do if you were on vacation overseas and
So, what would you do if you were on vacation? Conditional sentences. My suggestion, please repeat these sentences out loud several times so they become your own language. What would you do if you were on a vacation?
You
Say it
lost
10 times.
all your money and credit cards?
I guess I'd call my parents and ask them to send me some money right away. What about you, Zoe?
Yeah, I'd probably do the same thing. Though I guess I'd probably sell my watch and camera. Or I might get a job as a waitress somewhere till I made enough money to buy a plane ticket home.
Until I made enough money. So make money, make friends, collocations, make photocopies, the things that are coming to my mind, make your bed in the morning. So this is collocation and you need to memorize, make, and all of these things.
3.
You know, something happened to me this morning, and I don't know what I should do.
What happened?
Well, I was taking a test in math, and
So we students take a test. The teacher gives a test. So take a test, give a test. The student takes, the teacher gives the test.
saw two classmates cheating in front of me.
Wow. Cheating. Cheat.
How were they cheating?
Well, I heard some noise, so I looked over there, and they both were looking at their arms. Their arms had writing all over them.
Oh, so they wrote the answers on their arms?
Yeah. And then after class, they were laughing and talking all about it. What would you do if you saw two people cheating on a test?
If I were in your position, I would talk to.
If I were in your position, we talked about it. And for example, I'd talk or I'd whatever. If I were in your position, I wouldn't say anything. I would say something. Beautiful sentences.
The teacher. I would tell him what you saw and ask him not to say that you told him.
Ask them not to say.
It's not fair if they get a good grade and they didn't spend any time studying like you did.
It's not fair.
I wouldn't get involved.
I wouldn't get involved.
I would pretend I didn't see anything.
I would pretend I wouldn't see anything. I would assume I would show that I didn't see anything.
It's not your business, and sooner or later they'll get caught.
Sooner or later they'll get caught. Passive sentence. Get PP or to be PP. They will get caught by the teacher or by authorities. Okay, and that is the end of our listening. So I hope you enjoyed it, talking about tough situations, the predicaments, what would you do if you were in that situation, and the sentences that we covered. The language here was beautiful. Now, if you are ready, exercise 6, word power, not a difficult exercise. Here, pairs of opposites. So, for furthering our vocabulary, I don't find these words here very difficult, but just for the sake of pronunciation, my suggestion first, you pause the video and read these words out loud to check your pronunciation. After you're listening to mine, you can check that if yours was correct or not. But I am reading them for you. Accept, admit, agree, borrow, deny, disagree, dislike, divorce, enjoy, find, forget, lend, lose, marry, refuse, remember, save, and spend. I didn't find any difficult word here, so just for the practice here, accept and refuse, opposite, admit and deny, opposite, agree, disagree, borrow and lend, like, dislike, divorce and marry, enjoy and do we have anything for enjoy? Enjoy and dislike. Okay, I said like, dislike, but it is enjoy and dislike. Find and lose, forget and remember, lend and borrow, We talked about these, refuse and save and spend, again opposite. Okay, I don't find this exercise difficult for students of this level, but we have one practice here, just making some sentences with these in order to learn them far better. I have made some sentences with the difficult ones, a little more difficult ones. So maybe the meaning gets stuck in your mind. It says, she decided to accept the job offer, accept the offer, rather than refuse it. So if there is a job offer, you can accept it, you can refuse it. He had to admit his mistake after initially trying to deny it. So if there is a mistake, admit the mistake, means accept it or deny the mistake. Number 3, they agreed on the plan for the project, but they disagreed on the timeline. So agree on something, disagree on something. Okay. This one, she asked her neighbor if she could borrow some sugar, and in return, she offered to lend him a book from her collection. Beautiful. Sugar and book. Fair share. After a difficult period, they chose to divorce. Sorry to hear that. But later found happiness again and decided to marry each other once more. Okay, good for them. So this was the story of opposites. I didn't find it difficult. My suggestion, let's spend our time on something more speaking oriented. Here, exercise 7, that was a big mistake. Okay, this one again is setting the scenario for this grammar focus. Let's take care of that and see what it says. 2 situations, a little showing us what the grammar focus is going to be about. Let's listen to that.
Part A. Listen to people talk about recent predicaments. Then check the best suggestion for each one.
Predicaments and their suggestions. Okay, let's listen to them. Number 1.
I borrowed my sister's brand new car and I scratched it while I was parking. I didn't want her to be upset with me, so I told her the scratch was there already. What should I have done?
What should I have done? You chose the worst thing to do. So, I borrowed my sister's brand new car. That makes the scenario tough. I scratched it, you know, so scratch it with something, so scratch the body of the car. While I was parking, I didn't want her to be upset with me. I told her the scratch was there already. Before I borrowed the car, the scratch was there. That's what I told her. What should I have done? The part that you are asking for advice or people's suggestion, you say, what should I have done? What would you have done? The 3 answers. You should have told her about it. You should have taken it to a repair shop, or you should have offered to pay for the damage. All the 3 are good suggestions. You should have PP. So have it in your mind. Suggestion. Should have PP. You should have PP. And
I forgot my best friend's birthday. I felt terrible, so I texted him to apologize, but he's still upset. What would you have done?
This friend is so sensitive. I forgot my best friend's birthday. I felt terrible, so I texted him to apologize. When someone approaches to apologize, please accept the apology. Otherwise, that is kind of the end of the relationship. So apologize and then accept the apology. What's wrong? Things happen. He's still upset. What would you have done? So your opinion if you were in my case. Here we said, what should I have done? What would you have done? These are 2 cases. What should I have done? What would you have done? Okay, the 3 answers, I would have called him right away. If I were you, I would have called him right away. I would have sent him a nice birthday present. Maybe it would change his mood. And I would have invited him out for a meal. All the three suggestions are really nice and useful towards solving the case here. Okay, so we talked about these two situations. In fact, this perspective was here to start and trigger our mind for going to the grammar focus, exercise 8. Past modals, talking about giving suggestions and people's opinions in the past. Just take some moments to think about this table, please. It says use would have or should have, PP, to give opinions or suggestions about actions in the past. What should I have done? What would you have done if you were in my situation? And the answer, you should have PP. You shouldn't have PP. You should have told her. You shouldn't have lied. I would have called him. I wouldn't have texted him. So a call is far better than a text. So here a little the book triggered your mind on should have PP, would have PP. Let's go to the word file. Past modals. Opinions for past, would have PP. Suggestions for past, should have PP. Use I would have PP, of course. I would have PP to give an opinion about an action in the past, and use should have PP to make a suggestion about a past event. So in both cases, things are gone too far. Suggestion or opinion, it is too late. It is in the past. Okay, through more examples, you will better understand what it says. The structure says, subject would have PP. I would have apologized to her. I would have apologized to her if I were you. And what would subject have PP? What would you have done? What would you have done? What should I have done? Here, let's go to part A. Part A, complete these conversations, then practice with a partner. So 4 sentences here to a little tell us about the grammar more. I was in a meeting at work when my girlfriend texted me saying she needed to see me right away. What should I have done? What should I have PP? What should I have done? You should have sent. You should have sent her a message and again PP. Told her you'd call back later. So if you have one verb here, PP, another verb comes again parallel to that, PP. So any other verb coming in line with that would be PP. You should have sent her the message and told her that you'd call her back later, or you'd call back later. Number 2, the cashier gave me too much change. What should I have done? You should have said something. You shouldn't have taken the money with you. So take, took, taken. You shouldn't have taken the money. I ignored an email from someone I don't like. What would you have done? So what should I have done? What would you have done? I would have replied to the person, replied to someone. It just takes a minute. I would have replied. And number 4, we left all our trash at the campsite. What would you have done? I would have taken it with me. Trash non-count, so it. I would have taken it with me and thrown, and thrown it away later. I would have taken it with me and thrown it away later. So for you, you need to practice past and PP of irregular verbs as well. For this grammar, you need it. But before going to part B, here it says Grammar Plus, see page 146. So that part has some extra practice for us. Let's go and take care of that. This is about conditional sentences. We had a lot of examples there. If you need, you can go and check it out. But here, past modals, it says use should have PP or would have PP for these 4 sentences. Look at the scenario. My neighbor had a party last night. It was too loud, so I called the police. You should have spoken to neighbor first. You should have spoken to your neighbor. Suggestion. The mail carrier put someone else's mail in my box. I threw it away. Why? You should have written, wrote, written. You should have written a note and left the mail in your box. You should have written a note and left the mail in your box. In fact, the second verb is also you should have, but we factor out you should have, just leaving the PP. You should have written a note and left the mail in your box. Number 3, my sister asked if I liked her new dress. It didn't look good on her. Look good on her. It didn't look good on her, but I said it did. So you should have. I would have told her the truth. I would have told her the truth, or I wouldn't have told her a lie. Okay? And number 4, a salesperson called me last night. I didn't want to buy anything, but I let her talk to me for almost half an hour. Bad. I would have told her I'm not interested and hung. I would have told her I'm not interested and hung up. Okay, got it? So this was the grammar practice for this grammar part that we had right now. And now I think you are good with it. Going back to the story and part B again. Some situations and some suggestions. Let's read and match them with each other. It says, number 1, the teacher borrowed my favorite book and spilled coffee all over it. So, spilled coffee all over it. And which suggestion? You should have spoken to him about it. For example, this one is good. I would have spoken to the teacher about it. Yeah, these two would be good ideas for it. I saw a classmate cheating on an exam, so I wrote her an email about it. Okay? It says, for example, this one. I wouldn't have said anything. Or E, you should have warned her not to do it again. This one also matches. Yeah? Okay. And maybe... No, these two are good. Number 3, a friend of mine, or my friend, always has messy hair, so I gave him a comb for his birthday. A little too shocking, probably for the person. Maybe I wouldn't have said anything. This was one of the answers. Or maybe... you should have spoken to him about it. This is better. You should have spoken to him about it. Yeah. And number 4, I hit someone's car when I was leaving a parking lot. Luckily, no one saw me. Good for you. So maybe this one is good. You should have left a note for the owner. You should have left the note for the owner. And my aunt gave me a wool sweater. I can't wear wool, so I gave it back. Gave it back? Interesting. For example, this one, G. I would have told her that I prefer something else, or you should have exchanged it for something else. These are good suggestions. Okay? So this grammar also, we talked about it. We had part A with the sentences, part B suggestions that we connected, also the extra grammar at the back of the book, and now part C, some more situations for you to better understand the grammar. So I have created 2 scenarios here. Let's see. I had an argument with Eileen and we ended up separating with no talk. What would you have done differently in that situation? So you got it? An argument with Eileen, name of a girl. We ended up separating with no talk. What would you have done in that situation? The answer, it says... You should have taken a moment to cool off before discussing things calmly. I wouldn't have left the case without resolving the argument. So, should have PP, and a would have PP. You should have taken a moment to cool off before discussing things calmly, and I wouldn't have left the case without resolving the argument. Wouldn't have left, should have taken. Got it? And number 2, another case, Arusha, and the name of another girl. Arusha missed the last train home after work and had to take a taxi, which was very expensive. What would you have done differently in that situation? So in the case of Arusha, you should have checked the train schedule beforehand, should have PP. In that case, I would have arranged for a ride with a colleague to avoid the extra cost of the taxi. So you should have checked, I would have arranged for a ride with a colleague. So some kind of car share. Okay, so the 2 cases with Eileen and Arusha, we took care of them, and our grammar, I guess, here is fixed and clear for us. Now, let's head for the rest of the unit. I hope you're not tired, are you? If so, please pause the video, get up, a little stretch, and come back. Exercise 9, pronunciation, reduction of have. You know that have is not strongly pronounced, so here we say, what would you have done? What would you have done? And I would have told the truth. I would have told, it's not separate words. These are linked together. I would have told the truth. What would you have done? I would have told the truth. Got it? It's not difficult, so I'm not spending time on it. Listening, problem solved. Okay, let's listen to these 2 cases with their problems and what the person did in each case. Please take notes and give me your summary for developing your speaking in the first round. The second round, we will listen to it sentence by sentence for vocabulary. Let's go.
Good morning and welcome to Problem Solved, a podcast where we find great solutions to your problems. Life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and today we have Dr. Jones with us. Thanks for being here, Dr. Jones.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's get started with our first message. It reads, Dear Problem Solved, I'm a senior in high school and am starting to apply to college. My dad really wants me to study law. He's a lawyer and loves it. But I love languages and want to be a language teacher. We got in a huge fight about it. I got really mad and told him he was selfish. Then I slammed the door. Now we're not talking. What should I do? Thanks, Ronnie. Dr. Jones, what advice would you give to Ronnie?
Well, Ronnie, I understand your frustration. You know what you want to do, and you feel you don't have your father's support. But you shouldn't have told him he was selfish, and you definitely shouldn't have slammed the door. He's thinking about your future and wants what's best for you. You need to apologize and tell him that you appreciate his opinion, but that studying languages is your passion. If I were you, I would have said that from the start. But don't worry, your dad will understand and eventually let you decide your career. Be patient with him.
Patience is always excellent advice. Let's go to the next letter from a listener in New York.
So, because I don't want it to be too long for you, the first case, the case of Ronnie and his argument with his dad. Please pause the video here and give me a summary of your talk. My summary? The story is about this senior guy in high school, and he's graduating, but for his higher education, he wants to go and study languages to be a language teacher. His dad, on the other hand, because he's a lawyer, wants him to study law. There was an argument between the two, and he told his father he was selfish and just slammed the door, left the room. Now, the advice is that he shouldn't have told the father he was selfish because he wants the good for this boy, and also he shouldn't have slammed the door. He should go and apologize to his dad, and this way they can resolve the argument. Okay, now the second one, please.
Her message reads, Dear Problem Solved, I have a problem at work. I've been at my company for 5 years and have always arrived on time and even worked overtime to get the job done right. My boss often congratulates me on my work, and I was sure I would get a promotion or raise soon. But I never said anything to him about wanting those things. Then, last week, my boss welcomed a new employee. The company created a new position, and this new guy is taking it. They gave him his own office, and I know he's making more money. Why didn't they ask me? Now I feel unmotivated and unhappy at work. What should I do? Becca.
Becca, thanks for writing in. While there are plenty of things you should do now, let's first look at what you should have done before this new employee arrived. You said your boss always appreciated your work, but maybe you should have been more honest with him about wanting to grow in the company. I would have talked to him and expressed that a long time ago. It's possible he thought that you weren't interested. But don't worry, there are plenty of things you can do now. Why don't you talk to your new coworker, find out about his education and work history? Look at him as a colleague and someone you can learn from, not as competition. He might suggest a course you could take or have some good advice. And then talk to your boss, but be positive. Let him know how much you like working there and how much you'd like to grow more in the company. He might have some good advice, too, and in the end, he will appreciate your honesty and ambition.
I think honesty and patience are 2 good lessons we can learn from today's podcast. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Dr. Jones, for being here with us. And listeners, remember, life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and thank you for joining us today. Don't miss the next episode of our podcast, Problem Solved.
Lots of notes for this one. Okay, so please pause the video and give your speaking. If you need, please go back and listen to the listening another time because it was long, maybe you need it. But the case is that she's been working in that company for long and she has always been on time. She and the boss appreciated her effort. But a new employee just came in and there was a new position opened in the company. The position was given to that new employee. Now she's kind of disappointed why the position was not given to her. So the advice is that maybe the boss didn't know that she wants to grow in the company. She never talked about it. The idea is that she can go and talk to the new coworker and learn about his education. And this way, maybe this is a stepping stone for her to grow. And at the same time, she should be positive, go and talk to the employer or the boss and say that she wants also to grow in the company and she has the ambition for it. Maybe the new positions are offered to her. Overall, these 2 pieces are going to teach us about honesty and patience in solving our predicaments or problems. Okay, now a second round, let's listen to it. It had some words and phrases, we talk about them. Okay, let's go.
Good morning and welcome to Problem Solved, a
Problem Solved, the name of this
podcast where we find great solutions to your problems. Life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and today we have Dr. Jones with us. Thanks for being here, Dr. Jones.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, let's get started with our first message. It reads, Dear Problem Solved.
So the first message, it reads. It reads means it says, it's written, it reads, and then the message. And thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. These were the 2 points so far.
I'm a senior in high school and
I'm a senior. So he's student of the final grade. For example, grade 12. I'm a senior, not a junior, a senior.
I'm starting to apply to college. My dad really wants me to study law. He's a lawyer and loves it.
So, law is the major and lawyer. Law, lawyer. So the pronunciation is different. This one is law, this one is lawyer. Law, lawyer.
but I love languages and want to be a language teacher. We got in a huge fight about it. I got really mad and told him he was selfish.
I got mad, angry.
Then I slammed the door. Now we're not talking. What should I do? Thanks, Ronnie. Dr. Jones, what advice would you give to Ronnie?
So you know that advice is non-count, yeah? What advice would you give Ronnie? Advice with the C, noun, non-count. We don't say advice is a piece of advice or some advice. And advise with the S, it is a verb. So advice, noun, advise, verb.
Well, Ronnie, I understand your frustration. You know what you want to do, and you feel you don't have your father's support.
Frustration. The time that things do not get solved or things do not go well. Disappointment. Frustration.
But you shouldn't have told him he was selfish.
Shouldn't have told him. Shouldn't have told him. Look at the pronunciation.
Feel you don't have your father's support. But you shouldn't have told him he was selfish.
You shouldn't have told him he was selfish.
And you definitely shouldn't have slammed the door. He's thinking about your future and wants what's best for you.
Yeah.
You need to apologize and tell him that you appreciate his opinion.
Apologize and tell him that you appreciate, thankful of what he wants.
But that studying languages is your passion.
Studying languages is your passion. It's your interest.
If I were you, I would have said that from the start.
I would have said that from start. I would have said that from start.
But don't worry. Your dad will understand and eventually let you decide your career. Be patient with him.
Patience is always excellent advice. Let's go to the next letter from a listener in New York. Her message reads,
Again, her message reads,
Dear problem solved. I have a problem at work. I've been at my company for 5 years and have always arrived on time and even worked overtime to get the job done right.
Nice.
My boss often congratulates me on my work.
Congratulates me on my work. So, congratulate somebody on something. The pronunciation preposition for congratulate is on. Congratulations on your new car, congratulations on the new baby or on your new job position, whatever.
And I was sure I would get a promotion or raise soon. But I never said anything to him about wanting those things. Then last week, my boss welcomed a new employee. The company created a new position, and this new guy is taking it. They gave him his own office, and I know he's making more money. Why didn't they ask me? Now I feel unmotivated and unhappy at work.
I feel unmotivated. So motivation, noun, motivated, unmotivated, the adjective. So motivated, unmotivated, two adjectives.
What should I do? Becca.
Becca, thanks for writing in. While there are plenty of things you should do now, let's first look at what you should have done before this new employee arrived. You said your boss always appreciated your work, but maybe you should have been more honest with him about...
You should have been more honest with him or more direct with him.
...wanting to grow in the company. I would have talked to him and expressed that a long time ago. It's possible he thought that you weren't interested.
So probably the boss wouldn't consider you as the person who wants to grow because some people are satisfied with their positions. Did you ever tell your boss that you want to grow in the company? You have never said that.
But don't worry. There are plenty of things you can do now. Why don't you talk to your new coworker? Find out about his education and work history. Look at him as a colleague and someone you can learn from.
As a colleague.
Not as competition. He might suggest a course you could take or have some good advice. And then talk to your boss. But be positive. Let him know how much you like working there and how much you'd like to grow more in the company. He might have some good advice, too. And in the end, he will appreciate your honesty and ambition.
Honesty and ambition. You know about that. Ambition. The desire to grow and go higher.
I think honesty and patience are two good lessons we can learn from today's podcast. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Dr. Jones, for being here with us. And listeners, remember, life is full of predicaments, but there's always a solution. I'm Cole Williams, and thank you for joining us today. Don't miss the next episode of our podcast, Problem Solved, next week.
Okay, nice and clean. We talked about these predicaments with the suggestions. The key, honesty and patience. Go talk and most of the cases will get resolved if you just talk about them. That is the key to conflict resolution. Okay, so that was our listening. Exercise 11 and the speaking part. An awful trip. Oh, I hope it doesn't happen to any of you. Imagine a friend has been on a really awful trip. On a trip. Be on a trip. Everything went wrong. What should your friend have done? What shouldn't he or she have done? So you see, it is he or she, but have. Why? Because of should. Should have done, shouldn't have done. Okay, so these are 5 sentences here. Your friend spent hours in the sun, got sunburned, drank tap water and got sick, stayed at a very bad hotel, wallet was stolen, and overslept and missed the flight back. Now, sentences with should have and would have. See? It says your friend spent hours in the sun and got a sunburn. So get a sunburn. Collocation. A. They shouldn't have spent so many hours in the sun without sunscreen. Shouldn't have PP. I would have used sunscreen if I knew I would be out in the sun for long. I would have used. They shouldn't have spent. Okay, case 2. Your friend drank tap water, not bottled water, and got sick. They should have drunk, drunk. They shouldn't have drunk tap water from an unfamiliar place. Shouldn't have PP. Advice, suggestion. I would have stuck to bottled water to stay safe. Stick to something. I would have gone with that option. I would have stuck to bottled water to stay safe. Number 3. Your friend stayed at a very bad hotel. They shouldn't have chosen such a poorly reviewed hotel. So you should check the reviews first. I would have checked online reviews before booking accommodations. Accommodation means living place, staying place, whether it is a hotel, Airbnb, or whatever. Number 4. Your friend's wallet was stolen with all his cards in. He shouldn't have carried all his valuables in one place. Shouldn't have. And I would have kept my wallet in a safer place, like money belt. So a belt that you put your money in, wear around your waist or whatever. And number 5, your friend overslept and missed the flight back. They shouldn't have stayed up so late the night before. Stay up means not go to bed. Stay up. They shouldn't have stayed up so late and not go to bed the night before their flight. I would have set multiple alarms. Set alarm. I would have set multiple alarms. Set. So you know that the past and PP are the same. I would have set multiple alarms to ensure I woke up on time for the flight. Okay, so sentences with should have PP, suggestion, would have PP, my own opinion, what would I have done in your situation. We covered them nice and clean. And now, exercise 12, advice needed. So it says, write a post to a community blog about a real or imaginary problem. So here we're going to create a problem and then maybe talk about the solutions to that. Here there is a problem. We have our own problem typed here. It says, I booked a vacation rental for a week in the mountains. Excited for a peaceful getaway. A peaceful getaway. When I arrived, the rental, the place, was nothing like the photos. Dirty. So this dash means explanation on the things before. Dirty, with broken amenities, facilities, and an unbearable smell, a very horrible smell, bad smell. I complained to the management, but they ignored my request for a refund or another accommodation. I ended up leaving early, disappointed, and out of pocket. So I had spent all my money and I was moneyless, out of pocket. What are my options here? Did I miss something in my approach? An advice would be appreciated. So the case is that someone booking a rental in the mountains for a peaceful getaway, but the place is dirty, broken amenities, and the smell is awful. So it's virtually not possible to stay there. The person leaves early. Now, reply. At first, please sympathize with the person who has a problem. It says, I'm sorry to hear about your disappointing experience. Sympathize. To address this, to solve this problem, to take care of this, it's crucial to document the issue immediately upon arrival with photos and videos. So you go there, you see it's nothing like the photos you've seen. Take some photos, a video, that will be good for your documentation. Contact the management again, clearly outlining your concerns and requesting a refund or alternative accommodation based on the booking terms and conditions. If the management remains unresponsive, doesn't answer you, escalate the issue through the booking platform's customer service. So escalate the issue means take it one step higher through the booking platform's customer service. In the future, scrutinize reviews. Study, analyze reviews, and consider reaching out to previous guests to ensure a better booking decision. Okay, so the advice here was really nice and useful. First, go and talk to them. If it did not work, go and talk to the booking platform customer service. And in the future, first read the reviews. That's going to help you. And finally, this is the reading of the unit tips.com. So here we have exercise 13, tips.com, some people with their problems and the advice given to them. Let's read. Number 1, Jack London. What a beautiful name. I'm overweight, so a little heavy, and I'd really like to slim down. Slim means be in shape as a verb. I'd like to slim down. Beautiful. I've tried all kinds of diets, but none of them seem to work. And there isn't so much advice on the internet, I don't know what to believe anymore. What would you recommend? So, the advice. I had the same problem until I tried a high protein, no carbohydrate diet. So, you should increase the amount of protein and cut down on your carbohydrate. It was very strict, difficult. In the first couple of weeks, you have to eat less than 40 grams of carbohydrates a day. It's like a peanut, nothing. So, no bread, pasta, or potatoes that are high in carbohydrates. But I lost 9 pounds, something like 4 kilograms, in just 13 days. So, for me, it was worth it. It was worth it. To be worth it. Expression. It was worth it. It was valuable for me. It worked. I had a lot of meat and eggs and some butter too, which was great. I'd give it a shot if I were you. I'd give it a shot. I would try it. So give it a shot, try it. Means I would try it if I were you. Sarah Edinburgh was the person answering this. Number 2, and Maya from San Francisco. I'm traveling to Rio de Janeiro next month, and I'd like to see as much of the city as possible. The problem is that I'm only going to be there for a couple of days, and I'm not sure how to fit everything in. Should I book an organized tour? From someone who was in Rio before. I was in Rio a couple of months ago. I travel a lot and like to be independent. So I chose to find my own way around the city. What a mistake. Rio's so big that I kept getting lost. Get lost. Passive. Because you are the object of getting lost. That's why the sentence must be passive. I got lost. And in the end, I didn't get to see the beach of Ipanema or the cathedral. It would have been nice to have someone to talk to also. I really should have gone on a guided tour. Should have gone. Regret. Dag from Oslo. And the third one, Andre from Bogota. I've just finished my degree and I'm on the fence about what to do next. I'm on the fence, so I'm on the fence about something. I cannot decide what to do next. Here in Bogota, there aren't many job possibilities right now. Should I go back to college to get a master's? Apostrophe, yes, get a master's or bachelor's with apostrophe. Or go stay with my cousin in New York and try to get a job there. My English isn't very good, by the way, a friend wrote this. Okay, good for you. So America is the place for you. Stay where you are. I moved to the United States from Poland and got a job as a server. But it's long hours and not much money. I haven't really made many friends and I miss home. I should have stayed there and continue with my studies. Okay, so this was the reading, 3 cases and 3 pieces of advice coming to them. Now the summary of the reading, which is essential, especially for students of TOEFL IBT. They need it for their listening, for their speaking, for their writing. They need to get something, produce the summary of that, and give it in the speaking or the writing form. Now, the summary here. On a lively community blog, members openly discuss their challenges and seek advice on various topics. Jack London shares his ongoing battle with weight loss. Of course, now we see that London is the name of the city, not the last name. Trying numerous diets and sifting through conflicting internet tips. Sarah strongly supports a strict high protein no carb diet, carbohydrate, that worked wonders for her. Worked magic. Meanwhile, Maya considers how best to explore Rio de Janeiro during her short trip. Influenced by Dag's cautionary tale. So tale means story, cautionary means be cautious, be careful. About wandering without a guide. Wander, W-A, means going aimlessly without a guide. Andre seeks advice on his career in Bogota, debating further education on an international move. Debating further education or an international move. So he wanted to go to the US or further his education to masters. Inspired by Marta's regret over leaving Poland for a job overseas. These stories highlight the community's quest means want, need, for informed choices and collective wisdom. So the wisdom of all the people in the community. So the reading of the unit we took care of, all the 3 we read, and the summary that we just took care of. And now part D here has 1 speaking question, but I have changed it for you to make it more manageable for you. It says, who or where should people refer to for advice when they have problems in life? If you got problems in life, who should you refer to? Or where should you refer to? Your sample response in the speaking format, please. And my sample. When facing life problems, face a problem. Seeking advice from trusted friends, family members, or mentors can provide valuable perspectives, valuable insight, ideas. Beautiful. I just highlight these for you to easily transfer into your vocabulary notebook, making use of them. They offer emotional support and often have personal experiences to draw from, to take advantage from, to use. Professional counselors or therapists can provide objective guidance and coping strategies tailored to specific challenges. So what does it say? It says those people you go to, for example, parents, friends, or whatever, they have some emotional advice. Here, on the other hand, professional counselors or therapists can provide objective guidance. Objective guidance is not based on personal opinion. It's based on facts and tested data. And coping strategies tailored to exactly useful for specific challenges. Or done for specific challenges. Adjusted for specific challenges. Additionally, seeking advice from reputable online resources or support groups can offer diverse insight or perspective, and practical solutions. Taking time to evaluate options and seeking support from reliable sources can help navigate difficult situations effectively. So this is beautiful. Navigate difficult situations effectively means maneuver through difficult situations easily or try to solve difficult situations as best as you can. This was the speaking practice, end of the unit. So as you see, my approach centers on developing your speaking, something missing from many online courses, which just focus on developing your idiomatic expression knowledge, or maybe just one point of grammar, or maybe just some rare vocabulary items. Here, the emphasis is on your speaking. So you just come with me step by step, your speaking will be better. Now, let's go and have a review of the book file and the word file and just wrap up in our mind what we talked about today. This is going to be really useful because it will refresh all the ideas in your mind. Today, Unit 15, we talked about what have PP in, should have PP, some stories of honesty here we took care of, and then the conversation, the homeless guy finding $40,000, returning it, marking the grammar focus for us on real conditional sentences with if clauses. I told you about that in the word file. I will explain that for you. Listening and tough situations or predicaments, we talked about the word power and opposite, which was not very difficult. Perspectives, 2 scenarios for us to learn about. Grammar focus, past modals, would have PP and should have PP for suggestion for personal opinions on something. The reduction of have, what would you have done? I would have told the truth. You know about that. The listening to problems and the advice given to them, and the speaking part about the awful trip and the suggestions on that, writing with the problem and the solution, and the reading that right now we just finished. And the bulk of the story happens in our word file. Here in the word file, as promised, we talked about all of these points. Most of the exercises were centered on speaking. Here, for example, about losing something. I guess everybody has had this experience, so best to pause the video and give your sample response here. The questions that we had here, the conversation, we said break a law or break rules. We talked about it. Grammar focus, the structure of conditional sentences, simple past in the if clause, and would verb. Could, simple form, might, simple form. You know, after would, could, and might, simple form of the verb comes. We talked about the meaning that happens in present or future, and they are not true. They are hypothetical situations in present or future, expressing wish or regrets. Examples for present we talked about, examples for future we took care of, and here's some extra practice that we had. Again, for developing our speaking, we had here, it says address the issue or take care of a problem, take action, take drastic action, maintain relationship, maintain a healthy relationship. We talked about that. Exercise 4, the listening, spend time on the internet. We said that the preposition for the internet is on. Be addicted to something. On the phone. Take a break. What would you do if you were in my situation? Make excuse. We talked about it. Collocations. On a vacation. Terrible or horrible adjectives. Make money. Make friends. Make photocopies. Make the bed. All of them collocations. Transfer them to your vocabulary notebook and study them over and over. Take a test for the learner. Give a test for the teacher. Cheat on the exam. Position, if I were in your position, I'd talk. Beautiful sentence. Pretend. Get caught, you know that it is passive, so you can memorize it. Get caught or to be caught. Word power, which was not difficult. Just admit a mistake, deny a mistake, agree on something. In return, you do this for me. In return, I will do that for you. And the second grammar focus of the unit, would have and should have. Here we talked about them. Would have PP to give your personal opinion about something in the past. Should have PP to make suggestion about something in the past. And here the extra grammar that we took care of with these sentences. The second listening of the unit, thanks for having me, thanks for inviting me. It reads the messages that the person was reading. Senior student, law, lawyer, advice, non-count, advise, verb, frustration, disappointment, passion, the like or interest. Congratulate someone on something, unmotivated or disappointed. Colleague and ambition, we talked about all of them. Speaking part here, again, should have, would have, at the service of our grammar expansion. The writing, a peaceful getaway. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way the person had planned. Out of pocket means moneyless, and the reply with its language. And the reading, tips.com, slim down to reduce your weight. It was worth it. It was valuable for me. Give it a shot. Try it. Get lost, passive, we talked about it. Be on the fence about something means be unsure about something, you don't know what to decide, what to do. And the reading summary, work wonder or does magic for me. And the speaking part, valuable perspective means insight, means ideas, and objective guidance means based on facts, not subjective or emotional. And here, navigate difficult situations effectively or try to solve difficult situations efficiently or as best as you can. So that was the end of today's unit, a little long, but I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, please share it with your friends, like the video, and leave your beautiful comments under. If you haven't subscribed, please kindly do so. All of your reaction to my channel will be useful for me. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a brilliant day ahead of yourself. Take very good care and bye.